What's up, everybody? I'm Paul, and welcome to the Shake Up. Today, we're going to go over a few thoughts and concepts I have that can make you be a better. One of my first thoughts is the entire industry, the way handicappers go about learning this game from the very beginning. To me, they're all doing it ass backwards. All the books, all the shows, all the touts, everyone is about picking more winners. Follow me, I got more winners. Picking winners, all the books are about picking winners. But before you even approach the par mutual game, you really gotta understand a few things to survive and to be better than the rest of the public. So one of my core beliefs is win percents don't matter. If all these people are talking and all these books, everything picks winners. Everybody picks winners. And you know what? For the most part, we all kind of suck at them. I always say that I don't believe anyone picks over 30% long term. I don't pick near 30% long term. I know some of my best months, I'm picking in the 10% winners. The focus should be on what kind of horses you need to survive, what kind of tickets, what kind of odds, what do you need to survive and to give yourself a shot to win at this game. The example that I always give the newest people about what I'm talking about is all the old books. They used to talk about this mythical professional handicapper, that you got to hit 30% of your winners to be a profitable handicapper. I don't know where they come up with this bullshit, but that used to be the number. So this is what I always try to tell the new people when I'm trying to point out what I'm talking about. And like I said, I don't hit 30% of my tickets. I don't hit 30% of the races I bet in. But I know what type of races to go after, and I know where I need to be odd-wise to overcome the takeout and all the losing bets that we're going to have. So the first point I want to point out is you will lose 80 to 75% of your bets. I expect to lose that many of my bets. It's part of why it's so hard to fake the funk in horse racing. It's so hard to convince people because our failure rate is so high. But I do like to point out this example to the newest players to try to get them thinking like a handicapper and to try to get your mind in the right spot about what you should be looking at. So I talked about this 30% winner kind of thing. I'm going to give you 30%. But we're going to give you an average mutual of 2-1. So here's my example. After 100 races at $2 each, you will have a $200 investment. If you hit at 30%, that'll be 30 winners. We're not going to do breakage, so we're just going to say for every winner you get bet, you're going to get $6 in return. So 30 times 6 is 180. That will be your return. So you bet 200 to win 180. You had a great winning percentage, yet you're a long-term loser. Congratulations. And in my experience, it's much easier to improve your average mutual than it is to win to improve your win percentage. So this is more what it should be looking like. 10% winners at an average mutual of 10-1. After 100 races, you will still bet that same $200 at $2 each. You'll have 10 winners at $22. 22 times 10 equals 220 back off of a $200 total wager. All that does is make you a long-term winner. So what a lot of people don't understand, people that have been playing this game for 40, 50 years don't understand. It's actually easier to beat the game without following everyone else. It's harder. It's harder to beat the game with groupthink, handicapping like everyone else, thinking like everyone else. It's actually harder. Yeah, it gives you comfort that, yeah, I'm doing okay. All it's doing is slowing down your winning. It's making you a slow burn loser. I know it's a simplistic example, but to me, I think this explains where you need to be looking at and why win percentage does not matter as much as mutual. So get good at spotting what the public is bad at. And trust me, it's not hard. You watch me live, you can see how many long shots we hit. They're not a problem. And I have another example I want to point out because it's only a horse racing thing. I'll tell you how stupid a lot of it sounds and how bad the math is with horse players. So horse players go around all the time, and a lot of them will play 2-1, even money, and, defend their bet. Fine. I'm playing against them, so I'm not trying to convince anyone to play how I do. I still need the majority of you guys to be losers out there to be able to succeed. So trust me, I am not trying to change your guys' way that much. I'm just giving the people that want to learn another way of looking at it and to get better. I know most people won't do what it takes to get better. But here's my other example. In sports betting, you got two teams. Whenever you're betting on two teams, right? There's only three options it could come in. Team A can lose, Team A can win, or they can land on the point spread and tie, right? And the bookies don't even take ties anymore from what I understand in sports betting. I haven't bet sports in a long time. So you got pretty close to a true 50-50 coin flip kind of situation. I know you can handicap the teams, but, what really are the advantages you're giving a team? 45-50%? Maybe a 60-40 you're looking at that you're trying to play very narrow edges? Maybe a 70-30 every once in a while. Percentage for Team A and Team B. But for the most part, you're looking at pretty close to a coin flip, especially if the lines are very good. Look at it in horse racing. Look at how many people are willing to take even money, odds on, in races where, a shitty field size is 6 to 12 horses in a field size. People are willing. Look at all of those options there. Why do horse players don't get that math and how bad that math is? And don't tell me you think in a 10-horse field, this horse has a 90% chance to win this race. Tell me how good in the long run you are at saying a horse has a 50% chance to win, a 60%, a 70, or a 90. Man, these are rough estimates. Only in horse racing, guys will defend bets like that. You know me, when I say if you can't find anything special to do with a short price horse, I'd rather declare it the winner and move on and not risk my money. They don't move the bankroll. And when they lose, I always say when a chalk loses that you bet, they hurt you more than when they win. Unless you got something in the double, something in the try, something more special. But in just a scenario where you're looking for these short price horses just to win, a lot of times they put you in a place where they're forcing you to bet too much, and which is fine when they win. Fine a little bit. It doesn't really do a lot. I mean, shit, you put $200 to win on an even money shot, you get $400 back. I mean, I could find way better ways to put that money somewhere. But when you think about it, so let's just say you got a 9-horse field, right? You give the one horse a 50% chance to win this race, right? So all the other horses are making up that next 50% of the chance to win the race, right? So a lot of guys look at it, and when their one horse loses a race, they don't understand it. Well, they understand it, but they want to blame everyone. They want to say stiffing, drugs, everything else under the book and be crybabies, but that's just because they're bad and they're losing their money. But you got to know what the odds are saying. When you bet a 50% chance to win, it's a coin flip. It's still a coin flip. So only horse players in his right mind would say, you know what? Smart bettors would say, give me a field on that side of the coin flip. Horse players want to say, that's right, give me the chalk. And here's another thing about that situation, right? Yeah, none of the other 8 horses actually have close to a 50% chance to win the race, but in a combined effort, they do. So you really got to be careful about that because, you're probably betting that one horse as an even money shot if he gets everything to go in his way. If he goes everything to goes his way, right? He gets let's say it's front end horse. You don't want him to miss breaks. You probably don't want him to duel with anyone for too long. You want him to control things, right? Well, a race is just like a card game, a Texas Hold'em game where you get your starting 2 cards and you have a certain odds to win with your first 2 cards. But as soon as the flop comes up, the odds change. Then the turn comes up, the odds change again. You might get better or worse. And when the river comes, you finally, math is math, and then it's just, you got to make the call. Well, horse racing is kind of the same thing. People think that even money horse is even money all the way around the track. He's not. He's not even money if he misses the break, if you thought he was going to get the lead. He's not even money if you get a terrible ride by an idiot. He's not even money if you thought he was a front runner and he's getting molested by 4 other horses and the pace is too fast. He's probably not even money in your mind if the pace goes too fast. So even then, your prediction of what's fair odds is always changing in the race. They could be getting worse or better. Let's just say he gets the lead and no one's challenging him and the main rival stumbled and he has a very slow pace and you think the track's speed favoring. Well, his odds are probably going, your chances are probably going up. So just because you get a static odds, you got to acknowledge that they're changing during the race. So that's my first thought. So the first thought is no one's really good at picking winners because none of them picks us very good. I'm going to tell you that you're going to lose at least 75% of your bets right off the bat. I'm going to tell you that takeout is tough to overcome, especially if you're playing like everybody else. If you're cashing the majority of your tickets when everyone else is cashing, you probably won't have an edge. So This is my effort just to point out how bad groupthink is, how you got to get outside of what everyone else is doing. And the faster you can understand the type of horses you need to win, the quicker you'll learn how to get to those types of horses. Other than that, the game's pretty easy. You want to play more plus EV bets? You want to play more of those in the long run than you do your mistakes. You want to limit your mistakes. You want to limit your leaks. My next big point is sitting out as a skill. When I go and I watch people on YouTube, or I watch people on the track, or I watch my competition, or I watch other handicappers, I judge them by how capable they are of sitting out of races. You will not, and no one will have an edge in every race. It goes a long ways in this game. So sitting out is a true skill, and it's just as vital as knowing which kind of races to go for. That's the thing that most of you guys have, and the question that I get most in emails. Paul, how do you always, or how do you more often than not, tend to go after races that matter on your bad days? You know, on your good days, how does your bigger bets always end up on races that matter? It's a skill. You look at your ticket as a whole. You know, if I like first choice, second, third choice, I know there's not a lot of room to go. If my opinion can't get around those, I already know that exactas aren't great. Especially if they're like 2-1, 3-1, 5-2, if they're in that group, 3-horse boxes. Keying too much unless you got something special in other legs aren't that good. You're better off splitting between one of them. You're better off sitting out that race with no upside. There's no mathematical way to really tell you. I know races where I hate the chalk. I have you will have an edge over the game. Everything becomes good after that almost. Almost everything becomes good. Once you can throw out the chalk or the first two choices, almost everything becomes good. I'll tell you another thing that a lot of people, another thought that I have. The more by the book your handicapping is, or the more that you agree with the crowd, meaning after you handicap a race, when your contenders or the scenarios that you see that can win the race, that's another problem I got with handicappers. A lot of times they go through a forum, they're looking for winners. I tend to view races like they're closer in connections or closer in competition for the most part, the majority of races. I look for the little things that matter. I mean, you guys see how I handicap all the time. And if you haven't checked it out, you guys can watch the live stream. But I do always understand this. The more you see a race and it lines up with the odds, meaning, yeah, I like the favorite, I like the second choice, I like the third choice. The more you shouldn't be in that race, or the stricter your combination's got to be. You have to, if the more basic your handicapping or the more it lines up with the public, the better you have to be. You have to be the sharp to get an edge then. the more creative your handicapping is, and the farther you can get outside of the group think, the better your chances are. Your mistakes are better in the long run. It's almost backwards. People think that they're playing chalks and horses that people like and agreeing with their buddies, agreeing with the tote board, and they feel safety in that. I'll tell you, you won't hit enough winners to be able to succeed like that. Now, we'll all have different handicapping factors in what we weigh. I'll go into what I like more, but that's no secret.